The UK Caribbean community is disappearing. Why? Because we didn't create structure within our community. All we created was dysfunctionality and broken homes. We didn't make any investments. We didn't marry each other. We didn't, respect each other as a Caribbean community. All we did was date outside our community and opened up the floodgates for everyone else to come into our community. So we have failed to preserve ourselves, and the UK Caribbean community has no one to blame but themselves. The way to save the UK Caribbean community is if the UK let Caribbeans back into the UK for free. Till then, the UK Caribbean community will continue to disappear over the next 20 to 30 years.
So my disconnect with the New York club scene is due to the fact that Black American culture is too underrepresented in this city. And like Caribbean people always say Black Americans don't have culture, but in reality, y'all just are not aware of Black American culture. Like there's so much regional Black American culture throughout this country that y'all don't know because y'all only moved to New York, Miami, and Atlanta. So in New York, the only Black American culture that is represented is mainstream Black American culture. Like the most popular of the popularist rap songs that just came out a couple years ago, or like old 90s mainstream Black culture, but it's never like all of the different, like where's the West Coast rap? Why y'all not playing no Plies? Where's the T-Pain? Like it's so much Black American culture and Southern rap that just don't get no airplay in this city because it's just Caribbean culture. And like I'm from Brooklyn. I grew up with soca, reggae, dancehall. I'm aware of Caribbean culture and I enjoy Caribbean culture, but it's like as a Black American person, sometimes it's like I want to hear the music that I grew up on. I want to hear the music that my family plays at our events because Caribbean culture is not my culture and it's not really that present in my household. I think that's also why there's always this conversation of like, oh, there are no Black Americans in New York City. Because most of them just go back
to... It's Haitian Flag Day, and one South Florida woman says she's showing pride in Haiti by moving back.
That's right. The American-born woman says she is packing her things and taking her talents to Cap Haitian.
She was born here in Miami, but on the island is where she spent her adolescence. It's where her heart is, and in a few weeks will also be where her home is.
I don't want to live in this climate, and despite people will say, despite everything happening in Haiti, it's home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home and take care of home and make home better instead of being somewhere that myself and my people are not welcome.
That is just one of the reasons Rebecca Antoine has decided it's time to go. If courts don't overturn President Trump's plans to end TPS, thousands of people could return. Antoine, a registered doula with a master's degree in public health, wants to be ready to lay out the welcome mat.
With what happened with Trump, and think about it, if all these people are going to be sent back, we need people there capable to receive them and provide care. Pregnant women are going to get, deported.
Antoine already has a job working with the nonprofit Mama Baby Haiti. Her husband's job allows him to live anywhere. Her kids are already registered in school. I asked if she was afraid. She said yes, but it's not stopping her.
Bravery is not having no fear. It's doing something despite the fear.
I identify very happily now as Black, but I didn't always, because I became Black in America.
My African side was told, you are acting just like an American, but you are African, you're not Black.
I'm not Black, folks, I'm African.
Yeah, that's the same thing, you Black.
Not the same thing, we're different than you guys.
Look at your hand.
No, we're different than you guys from here.
I think that growing up in Kenya and surrounded by predominantly Black society, race is not the primary identifier. You have ethnicity, you have gender, you have wealth and class, but race is not at the tip of our tongues.
Moving to the U.S., I don't know if Black was the first thing I would reach for. I think I'd identified as Sudanese first and African second, and then Black was sort of a vocabulary I learned finding my way in the racial framework of this country.
Like, unfortunately with Black people, they just feel that, they're entitled, they can kind of just talk to you any way they want to. There's no respect whatsoever. They do whatever, they just, I don't know, they don't have the values of an African person would.
And they asked him what race was he. are you of the black race or colored race or whatever? He said, no, I'm Ethiopian.
Guys, please. Everybody just talk to you all for 1 second, okay? Everybody just be quiet. We're all asking you to kindly leave. The hotel is asking you to kindly leave. Please exit the room and exit to the parking lot. Thank you. We appreciate your cooperation. Sorry to ruin your party. We've been asked to help shut it down.
So y'all gonna get enough of voting for these Democrats because they Democrats, or voting for them because they got a brown skin tone. Maryland Governor Wes Moore vetoes slavery reparations study, citing need for the work itself. Like the work ain't already been done, G. Here's the thing about Wes Moore that I need people to know. He's a Jamaican American. He's not a foundational black American. The only governor, black governor, vetoes the slavery reparations. Is he black? Yeah, he looked like it. Is he a Jamaican American? Yes, he is. Will he benefit anywhere from reparations? No, he won't. Y'all see this man. I believe in reparations because a grievance, it has to be redressed. You get what I'm saying? Like, something has to be done about it. We got it. We know the history. We know we got all the research. We got all the numbers. We got all the data. We got everything. It's just that only certain people will be allowed it. And no matter the skin color, certain white people are not against reparations, and some black people are. We gotta really look into people's backgrounds before we start putting them in positions of power, and it ain't got nothing to do about their skin color. You know, judge them off the content of they policies. You feel me?
That you have a lot of people that look like you that are not for you. You have a lot of people that are messing around and finding out all over the place. The very first video, you had a Jamaican man clearly explaining that, hey, We're losing, our culture. We're losing everything that we pretty much built. It's pretty much going by the wayside because we've assimilated. And on top of assimilation, there's also been other people other than us, Jamaicans, coming directly to the United Kingdom. And he's like, hey, we're losing everything. We're not going to have anything left. And this because we created this ourselves. We did this to ourselves because we wanted to assimilate. We wanted to be here. We wanted to do everything that we wanted to do as Jamaicans. We just wanted to be a part of something instead of trying to carve out something and build their own. Again, this is what assimilation looks like. When you assimilate to something, that means that you lose whatever it is that you were in order to become part of a larger whole, right? That's pretty much similar to what is going on, what is happening with Black Americans, right? But again, let me just go back, right? So as a Jamaican individual, you left Jamaica, or your parents left Jamaica, grandparents, whatever it is, in order to quote unquote give you a better life, which is in the UK for whatever reason. And now you're saddened by what it is that you are now seeing. Again, this is the part where it's far too late. There's nothing that you can do. It's at the point where this person is talking about the only way that we can fix this is if they allow more Jamaicans to come directly into the United Kingdom. They're not going to do that. You got what it is that you wanted. You didn't look at the long-term effects. You look at the short-term gains, which pretty much, to be honest, wasn't much at all. But here you go. So going back to what I stated about how this is pretty much close to Black Americans, you had another video where a woman was speaking and stating how when people think about New York, they don't really think about Black Americans. At one point in time, when people thought about New York, they thought about Black Americans. It was just there. Now you think about the Asians, you think about the Latins, you think about the Jamaicans, you may have some Haitians, Africans, even some Mexicans there, you got some Arabs there, right? You got all these other cultures, right, that are heavy, that are just embedded directly there. It's even so much so that when you look at the music, you see a lot of these same cultures, a lot of these same people that I listed within rap. And the problem that takes place within that is that you have a lot of these individuals that are able to cosplay, they're able to mimic, they're able to match in with Black Americans due to the fact of their skin color. So a lot of these people, when they rap, they're not rapping in their language. They're not repping their culture. They're not dressing in their normal cultural garb. They're not doing any of those things at all. They're doing what it is that the white power structure specifically told them to do. Hey, if you want to be directly with us, you want to assimilate, you got to sit up there and do this music, right? And when you do this music, you cosplay, you become these Black Americans to further cause a divide and a division amongst them. Because it'd be vastly different if a lot of these peoples wanted to rap, but they were rapping in their own language. They were rapping about their own culture. They were highlighting or talking about their own peoples or culture in a negative light and highlighting it like that. It'll be all cool. It's like, whatever it is, do your own business. But that's not what they're here to do. They're here to cause a further divide and or a division. If people don't believe me, look at rap right now. Look at the younger rappers at this moment in time coming up and tell me exactly where it is that they came from. Tell me who it is that they are. And then ask yourself, if they are not Black American, then why are they using certain terms or referring to the men and women and the children in our communities in a derogatory and or a negative sense? Because I myself, as a Black American, if I went to somebody else's country, right, if I went to like Haiti, if I went to Jamaica, whatnot, Africa, it would be ridiculous for me to come to their land, to their home, and to start rapping to try to match in with them, and then trying to speak negatively about their people, their culture, their home. It wouldn't make any sense. People would have every right to be in an uproar. People would have every right to want to be angry, to want to cancel me. But when it deals with here in America, that's not what happens. That's not what happens at all, because Black people have gotten to the point where we're like, all right, we see people that look like us. They are us. We've been told for a very long time that other people around these different places that, hey, these are our people, yada, 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 all this other type of stuff. But yet I just gave you guys another video where you heard multiple people from different cultures state that they are not black. They stated that they are everything else. And the only way that they identified as black later on was when they came to the United States. They came to the United States. And then that's when people are like, I started to gain some type of pride. Again, these are things that they didn't initially have, because where they came from, they were going by what? Tribes. They were going by their cultures. They were going by their languages, their religions, right? Because everybody is pretty much looking the same. If you're African, you're not worried about color, right? Because you're looking at you every single day. So you're focused on the religion. You're focused on the politics. You're focused on the culture. You're focused on the tribes, right? You're focused on those traditions. You're focused on all of those other things, right? Those are the things that actually matter, right? Those are the roots of all of that. Here in the United States, it's vastly different. And even when a lot of them stated that they came to the United States, they still thought of us as weird. They still weren't going to identify as us or try to assimilate to be as us, right? I want y'all to pay attention. They say that they understood and they learned. They didn't say that they assimilated. A lot of these people will come to the United States and they will assimilate into America, right? Which is the white ideologies, which is the teachings and the beliefs, right? But they're not going to assimilate to something that pretty much matches in and looks just like them. They're not going to do any of that at all. And then that brings me to the last video. I'm going to skip over the video that happens to deal with the video dealing with the hotel. I'm going to just skip over that because I'm just going to sum it up as I feel as though that they thought that those Africans there were black Americans, and that's why they got treated the way that they got treated. Now, when you go to the very last video, you have a black man stating that, hey, we got this government, this Democrat. He was like, hey, the reparations thing, it needs more work. It needs more to be looked at, and this, that, and the third. You have a Jamaican American deciding that he wanted to get into government so that he can be so close to the white power structure that he could dim whatever efforts that indigenous people, that the original people, that black Americans were just trying to get a little bit of something so that we can try to start a fix on our situation. He was like, nah, y'all don't need that. Nah, as a Jamaican American, I'm telling you, black Americans, this is not what you guys need. Really what you guys need is more coming together. You need to focus on other things. This reparation thing is nonsense. And this happens every single time. And as the brother said, for any of the black Democrats directly out there, you have to be honest with this situation. If Biden was directly in office for 4 years, or however long it was that he was in office, and you had the House, the Senate, you basically had the whole government at your beck and call, why was it that reparations never got passed? Why is it now that you hear a lot of Democrats wanting to talk about monies and tangibles and reparations after they already lost, and they know that there's a greater chance that Trump can run again and more than likely win in 2028? Why talk about reparations now? Why are you trying to sit up there and do, this sleight of hand trick? No, that'll make no sense. If you really wanted, for the Democrats, if you really wanted black Americans to have your back, to keep you directly in office, maybe you should have gave them tangibles. Maybe you should have gave reparations. Maybe you should make sure that we shouldn't have so many outsiders in black American business. But because we don't have any trust directly in you, you are not trustworthy at all. Nothing but liars, connivers, deceivers. Because of all of the things that you've decided to do, you want to rob from Peter and give to Paul. You want to rob from the black community and give directly to yourself. And not only that, you want to also work with lobbyists to fill your pockets even further while still saying that you're doing the job for us, and you're not, and you never have. This is why I continuously say that a lot of people who look like us, who are not us, are not for us. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated. in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.